Hi guys, this is MMA here bringing another fight prediction. This one between Nate Marquardt versus Jake Ellenberger. Obviously until Rory McDonald got injured, Ellenberger was due to fight Hendricks, which is probably the fight, well, he probably had less chance of winning that fight, but he probably wanted that fight more because if he'd have had that fight and won, he would have got a shot against GSP almost without a shadow of a doubt, unless, of course, Rory McDonald wanted it. But he's injured, so he's out of the picture, which is a great shame. I'd love to see the Condit McDonald fight. So obviously Nate Marquardt comes into the picture. This sort of welterweight tournament, hugely stacked division. So Marquardt is almost by default being told you're ranked 7. Come into the UFC. Come back to the UFC. Obviously he was in the UFC. He was a top contender at middleweight, 185 pounds, with a more muscular frame until he lost. He was almost being talked about with that fight when he had with Chael Sonnen subsequently got the shot against Anderson Silva. So he was literally right there. So he was probably the number 3 guy in the UFC middleweight division. If he'd have beaten Chael in that fight, he'd have probably got the title shot against Anderson Silva. So yeah, he was right up there. He obviously got kicked out of the UFC because of having too high testosterone levels. I think he had 7-to-1 PE ratio, something like that. They said, nah, you're using, get out. It's interesting to see that as soon as he stopped using, he dropped a weight category. When guys do that, you kind of think, yeah, maybe you really were on steroids, buddy. I mean, I've seen him crying on camera. He really felt horrible about being kicked out. He's been brought back in. Dana White seems to have a forgiving mind, especially to top-level fighters. He brings guys back in, if even when they've done bad things. He went over to Strikeforce and did really well. Became the title holder and beat the likes of Paul Daly, who obviously, I mean, he's been kicked out of the UFC in spectacular fashion for sucker punching Josh Koscheck. But yeah, he's come back into the UFC now for his first fight with the absolution of Strikeforce. In terms of this fight, it's going to be an interesting one. Nate Marquardt, I feel, has the advantage in both power and striking, and probably sort of high-level competitive experience. Jake Ellenberger has the advantage in wrestling, but Nate Marquardt is used to wrestling 185-pounders still. It wasn't that long ago that he was a middleweight. So I think he'll be used to the strength of Jake Ellenberger. And he'll really have something to prove tonight. Ellenberger's coming off a loss to someone like Martin Kampmann. Marquardt will be much bigger and stronger. I'm going to predict Marquardt to finish this fight. Ellenberger, on the other hand, is tough as nails. I don't think Marquardt will finish him. I'm going to give it to Marquardt in 3 rounds. I'm not 100% sure about that by any means. I think it's going to be a close fight, much closer fight than the Hendricks one would have been. I think Hendricks would have beaten him up. No problem, to be perfectly honest. Someone like Marquardt GSP would be a very, very interesting fight if he can get near there. Whoever wins this fight probably only has 1 fight after that to win before they get a title shot. This sort of welterweight tournament would decide that. If they beat someone like a Rory McDonald or a Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz, Johnny Hendricks, someone right up there like that, they'd almost certainly get the title shot against GSP. That's assuming, of course, GSP beats both Nick Diaz and Johnny Hendricks, who's next in line, or the winner of Johnny Hendricks, Carlos Condit. So yeah, but this has been MMA bringing you another fight predictions. Sorry, please remember to like and subscribe, and keep your eye out for UFC 158. Absolutely can't wait. One of the best cards this year, no doubt about it. Please remember to like and subscribe, as I said, and keep your eye out for more videos. They will be on the way shortly. See you later, guys.